See if we can find the one that got away.
With Insomniac's Wolverine a mere month away at the time of recording this video, its pending premiere has rejuvenated discussion surrounding our favorite murderer in yellow spandex and his video game history at large. While Logan has been predominantly featured in several high-profile titles across each console generation, arguably none of them has been as revered as 2009's X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now there may be some confusion. Hey, Lyman, I remember that movie and it was anything but revered. No, I'm talking about the game, silly. See, X-Men Origins came out at a time when major blockbusters receiving half-baked movie tie-in games for an easy cash grab was the norm. But unlike most of its lackluster peers, especially in the Marvel department, this game is to Wolverine what Spider-Man 2 and the PS2 was to the Wallcrawler. A project that not only captures the essence of the IP it's handling, but also went on to still be considered the perfect example of a Wolverine game. Despite its high praise though, X-Men Origins isn't as perfect a package as it may appear on the surface, and does suffer from questions of conventionality and unoriginality. Is that enough to compromise it as a legitimate example of an adaptation done right? Or does its potential outweigh its quality? We'll find out the answer to all of that and more, but before we begin, consider liking the video if you enjoy it and subscribe for more video game analyses like this one. Now, let's get started.
I bet you thought you were lucky.
X-Men Origins Wolverine is a hack-and-slash action-adventure with a heavy focus on high-octane combat. The port I'm taking a look at is the PS3 and Xbox 360 port titled the Uncaged Edition due to its unrestricted violence and added content, which I personally view as the undisputed definitive version. The controls here are very simple. Square performs light attacks, triangle for heavy attacks, circle permits a grab move, and X allows for a jump and double jump, emphasizing the character's known agility, which comes in handy for sparse instances of platforming. Lights, heavies, and even grabs can be tactically chained together for unique combos, optimizing damage dealt. More often than not, the player is bombarded with hordes and hordes of henchmen, practically serving as lubricant for Logan's claws, as the goal is to butcher all that stands in his way. The category I'd lump X-Men Origins in is that of a power fantasy, seen in other titles like Star Wars The Force Unleashed or Batman Arkham Asylum. You practically feel untouchable in each scenario, reveling in the slaughter of your enemies. But like most interactive power fantasies, there lies a justified concern that the experience inevitably grows stale. This game attempts to remedy that with additional progression elements. By gaining experience from killing goons, finding optional dog tags, or completing certain challenges, Logan levels up in health while gaining skill points that can be allocated to strengthening certain aspects of his moveset. While we're on that topic, coupled with a health bar is a rage meter that dictates the frequency of special move usage. There are useful area effect moves like the Claw Spin and Ground Slam, the Claw Drill, and a Berserker mode, which has Logan go into a rage-filled frenzy, increasing both speed and attack efficiency. Not only is there variety in your abilities, but also in enemies, who come in all different shapes, sizes, and threat levels. Making things more interesting are sub-bosses that have unique weaknesses and help break up the normal gameplay loop. And finally, I'd be remiss not to mention a gameplay element I was not expecting going in: environmental puzzle solving. While none of these are necessarily brain scratchers and can quickly be figured out with Logan's toggled feral sense that acts as a glorified waypoint, some of them did admittedly stump me for a few minutes, demanding some brain power that is otherwise neglected for what is typically a brainless experience at times. But who cares if it's brainless? It's fun, right? Well, the short answer is yes, but the long answer is, it's complicated. Before I can clarify what that means, it's time to address the elephant in the room. Okay, enough dancing around it. X-Men Origins Wolverine is a shameless God of War clone. There are a lot of its kind. Since the 2005 landmark title helped revolutionize how action games are made in the West, its inspiration still felt decades later. But keep in mind, I don't use the term clone lightly. I don't mean inspired by or similar, no, I mean clone. C-L-O-N-E, clone. everything from the control scheme, level up system, excessive gore, environmental puzzles, Spartan rage, set pieces, wall climbing, QTEs, even plank walking. This is the most non-God of War game ever made. But look, even diet root beer is still root beer. There's still inherent fun to be had. However, when all is said and done, what's offered here pales in comparison to the complexity of God of War's action, puzzles, and platforming, and because this game is so shallow in comparison, it lacks the necessary tools to keep it from veering into sheer repetitiveness. In the first hour, I was rising to every challenge thrown at me, obliterating all foes. By hour 6, I hate to admit it, but I just started running past enemies because even the addictive combat stopped being so addictive after a while. Compounding onto this problem is lackluster difficulty. For comparison, let's look at the Batman Arkham games. Most who are vaguely familiar with that series consider it to be a triangle or Y simulator, since they start out incredibly easy and incoming blows can be effortlessly countered with the press of a button. While that's true at first, those games evolve as they go on, meaning so do the enemies. The player is consistently challenged with interesting mix-ups of goons that operate radically differently from each other, requiring unique methods of takedowns. Every fight has to be carefully evaluated, with the player juggling two different strategies all at once. Those games deconstruct the safety net it gives you at the start, constantly keeping you on your toes. Something this one fails to do since the enemy variety isn't substantial enough to warrant any new tactics, thus not evolving in its action. Just take the parry feature for instance. By blocking right as a like attack registers, Logan can dodge it and give one of his own. Cool beans, that's actually engaging. So tell me why the game will often slow down when a parable attack is thrown, turning what could be a rewarding mechanic into a mass QTE. It's stuff like that that prevents X-Men Origins from truly excelling. It sounds like I'm being overly negative, but look, I still think the game is a really fun time. Logan feels great to control, fighting is awesome, and there are a few instances of genuine boredom or frustration. But if I'm to give an honest assessment, I have to acknowledge that this game is a wholly unoriginal product that doesn't do much to innovate on its template and fails to completely understand what made it work to begin with. As far as movie tie-ins go, this may as well be the Mona Lisa. But as an independent work judged on its own merits, well, it's still good, but ultimately unremarkable.
Hey, Dukes. Wow, it's been a long time. About 10 or 12 100 pounds ago. Maybe it's time to give the pork rinds a rest.
I think we can all agree that 2009 was a standout year that showcased how powerful 7th Gen really was, with beautiful releases like Uncharted 2 Among Thieves, Killzone 2, Modern Warfare 2. Man, those are a lot of 2s. Point is, around this time was when developers were really getting used to the hardware and starting to make the most of it. So how is X-Men Origins Wolverine from a presentation standpoint? Honestly, pretty good. Every character, for the time, looked nearly photorealistic, and the environments are more often than not ripe with detail, feeling truly lived in. Another major highlight is the gore. Raven Software, the studio behind this, sought to make a Wolverine game that was super authentic to the comics tonally, and that includes the source material's visceral violence. Call me psychotic, but slashing enemies to bloody bits feels incredibly satisfying and gives the experience an edge that no live-action film, nearly 2 decades later, has quite done yet. Also, seeing Logan get injured down to his adamantium skeleton and regenerate in real time is, to put it simply, badass. The gore has many chances to shine, especially in these cool scripted cinematic set pieces that add to X-Men Origins' cool factor. Seriously, there are a lot of cool moments like these that really elevate the experience and help cover up its mundanity. Also, I was surprised to see that Raven got Hugh Jackman to reprise his role as Wolverine and Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth. By the way, say what you will about the film itself, but I really love this iteration of Sabretooth. He's not as outwardly animalistic as his comic counterpart, showing good intelligence and conveying his insatiable bloodlust through hauntingly subtle mannerisms. It's a more grounded version that doesn't deviate too far from the original and benefits greatly from the performer's natural charm. Getting to square off against him not once, but twice was a real treat. Now again, this came out in 2009, when gaming wasn't as respected a medium as it is nowadays. Heck, it's not even that respected currently. Suffice it to say, both Hollywood actors are kinda phoning it in, especially since voice work is a different talent than on-screen acting. Still, it was nice to hear them again, and the rest of the cast do a fine job. Fun fact, Steve Bloom, the regular voice for Wolverine in animation, voices Wade Wilson aka Deadpool here, which is a role that usually goes to his buddy Nolan North. What are the odds? This reminds me, I almost forgot to talk about the FMVs. Yeah, they look amazing. Just look at the quality of animation on display here. Sadly, they are noticeably compressed and also pre-rendered, meaning upscaling on an emulator can only do them so many favors from their natural resolution, but they're still a feast for the eyes.
Pain than any other man could endure. Your bones will be coated in adamantium. When we're done, you'll be able to withstand anything, even Creed. Where did you fight him? This box is more important to me than his life.
Don't even think about that.
Stand down, Captain.
My brother, my responsibility.
At my command.
The operation was a success, but he can't be trusted. We have his DNA for Weapon 11. Terminate him.
Let me ask you something. Did you know that the game we have spent the last several minutes talking about wasn't originally supposed to be related to X-Men Origins Wolverine at all? Yeah, at first it was conceptualized as a standalone game with its own identity, but it was later worked into a tie-in for the movie. That comes across expressly in how it adapts the events of said movie. Switching over to the film, after years of Logan being on the run and fighting in every war alongside his brother, Victor Creed, the two are recruited to be part of an elite mutant task force run by William Stryker. After realizing that Stryker is a pretty bad dude and getting sick of tempering his brother's sadistic impulses, Logan leaves to go live a happy life with his new lover, Kayla. A happy life that later gets interrupted by Victor, who's gone rogue and has been hunting down his old team. Kayla is caught in the crossfire, dying, and Stryker arrives to offer Logan a chance at revenge by surgically fusing a skeleton of adamantium to increase his strength. After the successful procedure, Stryker attempts to betray him, but Logan escapes and embarks on a quest to get revenge on all who've wronged him. Revenge story. Add that to the God of War checkbox. Anyway, the game follows the general outline of the film, but whereas the latter is more of a subdued, slow-burn character study, Raven Software started out wanting to make something reminiscent of the comics, and by God, they were going to do so, adaptation or not. Take the film outline, but throw in some rock monsters, new mutants, and an entire Sentinel subplot that comes out of nowhere, ending in the coolest boss in the whole game. This entire section feels like a leftover concept from the game Raven actually wanted to make, but I'm glad they found a way to incorporate it. It's due to this kind of over-the-top comic book flair that the game honestly feels like a way more authentic X-Men story than the film did, and in some ways, it even improves on the existing story, like Logan's departure from his squad. In the film, Stryker's interrogating a random villager about the whereabouts of an adamantium meteorite. When the villager simply argues against complying, Stryker executes him on the spot and the task force starts killing indiscriminately. Logan protests this and casually leaves the team while Stryker just lets him? Meanwhile, in the game, the scene starts out similarly, but this time the villager spits in Stryker's face, which, while not at all justifying an execution, rationalizes it more convincingly from Stryker's perspective. Logan is a lot more proactive, freeing the innocent man, who is then shot in the back by Wade Wilson, who finds the ordeal humorous. Logan is enraged but is subdued and knocked out. A. Logan is actively trying to stop the execution here. B. Wade's actions paint him as a loathsome person, better setting him up as a proper major antagonist. And C. Logan is physically punished for his insubordination, which fits Stryker's MO better. All in all, just a dramatically improved scene. After the Sentinel subplot, the rest of the story plays out mostly the same. Logan meets the Blob, who leads him to Gambit, which, by the way, could be another hot take. I really love Taylor Kitsch's Gambit. He actually has a lot of aura and doesn't have a gimmick of just talking funny.
Woo, I'm about to make a name for myself.
Gambit then leads him to the island, where it's revealed that Kayla was never killed by Sabretooth, but was a plant meant to trick Logan to volunteering for Stryker's adamantium experiment. She's still remorseful for her actions, and after a heated confrontation with Victor that almost ends in a cold-blooded murder, Kayla is there to once more remind Logan that he's not an animal. This grand character payoff meant more in the film, given more build-up, but effectively means the same in the game. Then comes what we've all been waiting for. Deadpool, or so this monstrosity is called. Third hot take, I actually really dig this design and would appreciate it if it was supposed to be any other character. Surprisingly though, this game partially redeems this horrible iteration of Deadpool with a really cool final boss that spans multiple phases. My only problem with it is I wish Victor had tag teamed with Logan since I really liked that part in the movie, but oh well. Anyway, Deadpool is decapitated, Logan and Victor leave on complicated terms, and his memories are erased with an adamantium bullet by Stryker, who gets brainwashed into surrendering by Kayla before she bleeds out and dies. Okay, that's faithful so far. What the heck? Yeah, you remember that Sentinel subplot I mentioned earlier? Well, it turns out it was setting up a story where Logan faces off against Mr. Sinister in a ruined future, in a sequel that was never planned, greenlit, or released. Huh. Excluding that weird addition, I really like the story of X-Men Origins Wolverine and would kinda consider it superior to the film. It covers the main beats, but adds more comic book characters, iconography, heightened stakes, and you spared the wonky storytelling of the source material.
So you're gonna keep me here until the tower collapses and kills us
The
both?
thought occurred to me. Why didn't you kill me, Jimmy? The real reason.
As much as I hate to admit it, we're brothers.
Yeah, we are. And while you try to hide it, we're both animals.
I am nothing like you. So get used to it. I've got to find Kayla.
You know what, pal? I'm always gonna be around to remind you exactly what you are.
In conclusion, I don't love X-Men Origins Wolverine for its innovation, immaculate design, or exceptional story, because it has none of those. No, I love this game because of Raven's incredible passion and love for the character that oozes from every creative decision. The spectacle, rawness, and uncaged nature of it all really cements this as a legendary Wolverine title, regardless of its many pitfalls and repetitiveness and unoriginality. In a way, this is a game that winds up being way better than the sum of its parts if looked at as a harmless hack and slash primed for fans of X-Men, Marvel, or just superheroes in general. My main hope is that Insomniac's time with Wolverine will manage to dethrone this as the character's best outing in the medium. If you want to watch my coverage of Marvel's Wolverine next month, be sure to subscribe for that and other analyses like this, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Also, I want to thank my friend Digi Nerdster for recommending me try this game, as I had completely forgotten about this and this whole video would not have happened without him. His channel is in the description if you want to check it out, link down below. Also, I have a Patreon. Members get access to videos 3 days early and a shout out at the end of each one, so consider checking that out if you want to give me a little bit more support. That said, have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.